All right, another episode of Captain Wrinkle Shirt. Definitely need to buy an iron here. So, modality number one, and this isn't because it's first place, definitely isn't for me, but helps a lot of people out. And this is going to be a bit redundant because you guys hear about it all the time, but it's meditation. Now, I still employ meditation. I think I do it as a why not. You know, I don't put a whole lot of time in it each day. It might be 5 minutes, it could be 10. I used to do more, but it's been studied to do a lot of good things. However, Dr. Huberman has, and if you haven't heard of the podcast, the Dr. Huberman podcast, I believe a neurobiologist from Stanford, and he goes over tons of different things for mostly brain, but brain and body health. And he doesn't usually go too deep into actual mental disorders, though. So, you know, if you're really heavy in a mental disorder, I have my doubts that meditation would be enough. But it's better than nothing, I think. However, referring back to Dr. Huberman, there's introspective, I believe, interoreceptive and exteroreceptive meditations. And so it can depend on the time of day, depend on if you're feeling more hypervigilant in the moment or if you're more in your head in the moment, whether you should employ one tactic or the other. The way I've done it is I've sort of done a both at once thing. So I kind of close my eyes, which would be interoreceptive, and then do things like feel my body, body scan or listen for noises around me, try to tune into that stuff, and which is, I think, skin deep and out is technically exteroreceptive, if I'm not confusing it. But definitely listening to sounds in the room, that's exteroreceptive. So you're supposed to do one, if you're in your head a lot, you don't want to go interoreceptively, and if you're hypervigilant, you don't want to go exteroreceptively because that can exacerbate the issues, make them worse. So it's a little complicated, and if you're in an anxious type of mindset, fight or flight, you don't want complication. You don't want to have to think about that stuff. So instead of maybe getting too deep into those things, it's a good clue in, but just try it. See what relaxes you and see what doesn't. And then don't get too hard on yourself. Don't feel like you have to really force yourself to tune out your thoughts, because that's probably going to increase your anxiety. So you kind of, I think the best thing is just be intuitive with it, and maybe you only want to do 3 minutes at a time. My understanding is you can get a benefit, and I don't know why 3 is the magic number. I think it, and that's a Dr. Huberman thing. No idea. It seems like that's a bit arbitrary to me, because there can be so many different things going on in someone's head that they're so individualized that 3 minutes is just, like, what if it's 2 minutes and 50 seconds or, Anyways, so if you can get a few minutes in of whatever type of meditation you feel like works for you, then it might help you slow down a little bit. And in terms of anxiety, I feel like that's where, at least in the moment, that's where it most benefited me. And then, I'll be honest, in the moment, depression-wise, I think it did help with that. It could energize me too. So overall, it's a good thing. I think there's an app out there called something like 10% Happier or something. And if you're 80 to 90% miserable, that 10% is not a huge boost. There's something. It's definitely not. You don't want to glean it over. You can. Any percent will help, right? And you want to be thankful for it. But if you're really, really in the thick of it, I say use it as an adjunct therapy. Don't make it the answer. Mindfulness gets touted as the answer way too often, I think. And for some people who don't have mental illness, they only need that 10%, and maybe they don't have ADHD issues, and being mindful in their day just give them that extra boost at their job or relationships, then probably is the answer. So it's, I don't know how prevalent, at least the moderate to extreme issues of mental health really are. They make it out to be that it's, even though it's becoming less stigmatized, they make it out to be like it's a pretty small section of society. So a lot of those things that are said to the general public are aimed at people who are not mentally ill. And, just another reason why I feel like the rules don't apply to me in a lot of different ways. Okay. So yeah, or if you're listening and you struggle with chronic mental illness, the rules probably don't apply to you. You got to try stuff that is going to be working for you individually. So meditation, modality number one, not because it's the best, but because it gets talked about a lot, and I think it's worth trying. And for some people who are mildly chronically mentally ill, it might be the answer. For some who are moderately, maybe it's still the answer. I don't want to make it like it can't make a world of difference for you. Maybe it can. Maybe you need to put in more time. Maybe you need to do an hour a day. Which is a lot, but people exercise an hour a day. You just got to try it. Try what works for you. Or try it and see if it works for you, like anything else. And I just know that for me personally, it wasn't the answer. It's a piece of the puzzle, and it's a tool. And I still use it daily, but I don't count on it, if you know what I mean. So that's been my journey with it, and I don't know if that's going to give you any insight. And with any of these modalities, I'm just going to say, at the end of the day, this is my experience, but yours might be completely different. Anyways, take care.